Hello, friends. So I hope you are going to have a wonderful and blessed day today. But before we go any further, guys, I recorded a video yesterday, and once again, being a content creator, it is very challenging sometimes because the editing tool that you are working with will delete your videos for goodness knows why. So I created a video yesterday, but unfortunately, it got deleted. I couldn't find it. I don't know what button I pressed, but I don't think I pressed anything. Somehow the video got lost, and now I have to recreate. But in the recreation of my video, I don't want to necessarily talk about what transpired yesterday on the stand between Mangena and Mr. Ngumala. I just want to talk about the heartbreaking news that we heard from the legal aid board that it's only going to fund accused number three's cross-examination. I was like, wait a minute, what? How is that even possible? Is this sabotage for real? Because it's beginning to feel like, yeah, these guys, come what may, they got to be convicted of killing Senzo Mewa. Because you would have thought that since this case went de novo, the legal aid board will take responsibility holistically until this case has come to an end. They are not pick and choose and limit this and then add that and say, well, the other ones, well, they will see what they have to do about it. At the same time, I also understand the financial implications behind Mr. Peterson being in court on a daily basis, because I think he does charge either per hour or per day in order for him to be in court. And I think the legal aid board felt like, wait a minute, we didn't anticipate this, and now we have to come to a conclusion to limit to whom they are going to fund for Peterson as the ballistic expert. But then again, we are dealing with a gun that was confiscated at accused number three's home in 2015, and the same gun, and now it is on the floor and it's being cross-examined. And of course, Mangena is very, very adamant that it is the same gun that was found at Mr. Mube's house was the one that killed Senzomia. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. I do not believe that for a second. And you know why I don't believe that for a second? Because on the stand, we had two first responders, including Musia, who said we did a thorough job. In fact, he said due diligence that they have done. Remember the due diligence debate that took place inside court? He said, well, we didn't find any evidence. Nothing. And out of the blue come Muhlahlo, yeah, her, and then she came and found a bullet behind a glass jar. And now the same bullet that was found behind a glass jar happens to be a bullet or the gun that was used in a taxi violence somewhere that actually got accused number three convicted for 15 years, from what I understand. Of course, when this mess started around the 26th of October 2014, they needed to look for a way or ways on how to find somebody else to be to take the rap for what had happened to Senzo Meyiwa, so that somebody is protected. Not only, I still believe it's not only allegedly Longo Twala that is being covered up for. Also, the commissioner of police back then, also the MEC that went there, also a lot of other police officers that were at the scene, they need to be covered up for, and that is why we find ourselves in this situation. I still don't believe that the four men that stand accused of killing Senzo Mewa are the right people, the five, by the way. And also, we did have Vodacom coming, and then it plotted where the cell phones were. The cell phones were nowhere near the Kumalo house. How do you then take that gun and then attach with the the towers of Vodacom the cell phone towers of Vodacom, and then you still say, I'm adamant that this is the same gun that killed Senzo Mewa? That doesn't make sense. This is a script, and this script it fell apart a very long time ago. And now as a result, we have the legal aid board. Why? Because the state decided that we are going to do this de novo, simply because a certain judge was being complained about, and now we had to have a new judge in Rata Mukwatleng. And he himself, I believe he's the one that is wasting. Probably all of this is deliberate so that all the accused end up having no lawyers at all to represent them, so that they get frustrated enough with all the fundings that they are getting from Legal Aid Board. Already, this is, I believe, phase one on making sure that the defense lawyers, they end up quitting so that these 5 accused people end up getting Legal Aid Board lawyers. And you know the reputation of the Legal Aid Board lawyers, and we know as well that this case either will quickly wrap up once there's what do you call this the state lawyers, because they will fumble and mess up and they will still come back and say, oh, that's because we're still learning this case from the old lawyers, da 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 da. It's going to be a huge mess, because that's phase one. With, I think they got an opportunity with Peterson, and now they're saying they can't fund all the remaining 2 when Peterson is on the stand, or even for all 5 of them. So it was quite disappointing to also see and hear Advocate Timnisi. He was almost emotional when he was basically reporting to the court, or to Rata, that, hey, this is the decision that the Legal Aid Board has taken. And Rata as well, you could hear or feel that there's a bounce in his step as well. Like, yeah, I think we got them a little bit there. But it is unfair at the end of the day, because de novo is not the defense's fault. This case belongs to the state. It's the state that needs to persuade the Legal Aid Board to say, listen, please continue with all of them. But no, it's okay for them. They are happy with, what do you call this, with the other ones are not getting the same opportunity they're going to get out of benefiting out of Peterson's testimony regarding this particular ballistic report. I don't know, guys, what you guys think. For me, I got a really bit upset, in fact, a real upset about this. And I was like, yeah, the agenda has begun to ensure that the 5 men that stand accused of killing Senzo Mewa, they are convicted. Because without the ballistic expert removing all of them from the crime scene, then of course there's going to be a situation. There's definitely going to be a situation. And this situation is not going to play in the hand. It's going to play positively in the defense's hands. Because you could even hear with Advocate Numalo, as he was continuing with the cross-examination, that his spirit was very, very down. He was basically chopped down to size. And you can imagine Mshololo, now that Numalo has wrapped up, or he's about to wrap up his cross-examination of Mangena. I mean, how she's going to be like with this guy, with Mangena, because now everything needs to be rush, so that the end, so that the Legal Aid Board doesn't have to pay excessive amount of money that now it's the defense who have to pay him out of their own pockets, or maybe now going to their clients and say, listen, your family members need to raise some funds so that we are able to pay Peterson, because this is exactly where this is leading. And then, of course, they might not have the money to pay the lawyers so that they can pay Peterson. And now the option is one. Guys, we cannot carry you with us no longer. You can't be our lawyers no more. We have no option but to take state lawyers. That's where this is leading to. If you are looking closely to what just transpired in the North Gauteng High Court yesterday when it came to the Legal Aid Board, I am not happy. I am worried. And again, like I said, if you think there's going to be justice for Senzo Mewa, we are fooling ourselves. We are really fooling ourselves. This case, it is dusted. The only thing that needs to be done is approval. It's a stamp of approval by Judge Rata with his judgment, and off they go to serve the rest of their lives in prison. It's sad. It's so sad. I don't know what else to say about this. I really don't know. And you can tell Mangena is adamant on lies. He's going to stand on these lies. And I'm glad that Mr. Numalo was able to tell him that, listen, our ballistic expert says this is inconclusive. And I believe it's inconclusive. How do you say this is coming from a 9mm? Whether you are talking scientific words or jargons and saying the possibilities are, of course we know what this judge is going to do. If there's a possibility, there's a 50-50, it always takes the one that is going to suit his judgment. And his judgment is guilty. He's not going to choose the other part. He's going to choose the other 50%. Because inconclusivity simply means it's 50-50. It could have come from that gun, and it couldn't have come from that gun. So it's sad. It's sad what is happening in the North Gauteng High Court. It's sad what is happening with this case. It is sad that the person that actually took Senzo Meyiwa away from his loved ones, they are never going to be held accountable. Again, like I said, unless somebody develops a conscience, only then we are going to get to the bottom of this. At this point in time, I don't think anybody, even if they do develop a conscience, maybe they'll do so on their deathbed, because they know I'm not going to be held accountable. After here, it's goodbye, so long, my friends type of situation. So I don't know, guys. It's upsetting. I was very, very upset. Even in my, maybe it was just the divine who was saying, listen, this video is not going to go out. You're too emotional, because I really was a bit emotional in that video. Yeah, okay, I wasn't throwing around my toys, but my tone was very, very... Yeah, sometimes I do get that situation, because I feel like it's not only the defense lawyers that are being frustrated, but anyone else that sees this to be a cooked up case, we are being frustrated as well. Other than that, guys, those are my thoughts of what I think is behind the I almost said the MPA. What is behind the Legal Aid Board's reasoning? Is it reasonable? I think it is, but at the same time, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that this case continues when this judge could actually take a decision? It's not the defense's fault. I understand the amount of money probably they have to pay Peter, sir. Is it Dave Peter, sir? Because I think it does charge a day or per hour. I don't know. Because apparently was supposed to be in court for only 3 days, because they anticipated that Mangena's cross-examination was going to take 3 days. Now it has gone on for almost 2 weeks now. So I do understand, but at the same time, I feel like because we have to understand, we got them type of situation, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I think they're like, yeah, we got them, because it sounds reasonable to a reasonable person, but at the same time, who do you blame for prolonging this case? Why did we even get to this point when the DNA said they were not in the crime scene? When the Vodacom tower said they were not at the crime scene? When the crime scene itself was cleaned? You understand what I'm saying? And then when the crime scene is also saying it was not cordoned off, these two first responders went to the hospital to check out Senzo Meyiwa's cold body. And then you had an uncle whom we allegedly, let's put it that way, allegedly the uncle was the one that was looking after the crime scene. How do we know that he's not the one who went and got a bullet from somewhere and planted it behind the glass jar? We don't know all those things. We can only speculate as to what really, really transpired. And then you have the two responders together with Messiah that said there was never anything. There were no shells, there were no bullet heads. They checked due diligently. And suddenly there's a bullet head that is popping from nowhere, found by... Yeah, I have a problem with yin yangs. So yeah, we shouldn't have gotten to this far. We shouldn't even went through trial within a trial because of the DNA, because I believe the major evidence that should have cut this whole charade was the DNA results. But now the same results are being disputed by a whole judge who's supposed to be impartial. He's supposed to be impartial. We're not supposed to know what is going on in his head, but he is challenging the DNA results. And he's interpreting them in his own way to suit his judgment of guilty. It's sad what we are watching, guys. We are watching miscarriage of justice. That is what we are witnessing. That is my opinion, guys. We are witnessing miscarriage of justice for the Meyiwas as well as the accused. We saw at one point where the judge hijacked Section 35 and made it that of the state as well, that they also need to have a fair, whatever it is that they needed to have a fair of. And yet Section 35 never mentions the prosecutions. It's about the accused. Hey guys, anyways, before I get emotional one more time, let's see each other a little bit later. Hopefully this time around my videos are not going to disappear. But let me know, what are your thoughts about what transpired, especially with the Legal Aid Board? What are your suspicions? What are you seeing? What are you reading between the lines? I'm interested to hear. Thank you so much. Let's see each other in my next video. But before you go, make sure to like, share, subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Bye.